Hi y'all, how are y'all doing today? I had a request to make some dressing, so that's what I'm going to do today. And, every time I make it, it may be just a little bit different. Of course, I always have a cornbread base. I have certain things I always put in it, uh, especially my seasonings, but sometimes I may use leftover biscuits. That's why I like to use the best in it. Today I'm using some light bread that's kind of day old because I don't have any leftover biscuits. And there have been times when if I want to make a quick batch for supper and I didn't have any, biscuits or I didn't have enough light bread, even if I have like real fresh light bread, um, I don't know, I guess I could toast it, but I wouldn't. So when I'd make my cornbread, I would just add extra flour and milk into my batter. And so, anyway, so we're going to get started, and I'll tell you probably as I go along what I, maybe do different at times. If I think about it, I may and I may not. I am just making a small batch today, and I may not even use all of it. I may have, may freeze some. I'm just making a small dish, but it would be the same as if you want to make a larger one. You would just use more ingredients. That's all it is. And as far as seasoning goes, that's just to your taste. All right, I am going to turn you down here if I can do this because this is somewhat of a new tripod, and it's let me see if that's good or not. Is that within the picture? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, within the video. All right, here we go. Okay, so I have my cornbread in here, and I've already started crumbling it. Now, what I do is I just take a piece of it and I just put my hands and I just crumble like this. Now, it's up to you. If you want yours super, super fine, you can stay here and crumble it up for a long time. I've seen some videos where I've seen some people say you should do that. I've seen some videos where people have it in chunks. I like mine crumbled, but I don't want to stay here all day getting every little bitty piece worked out. And I don't like it in real big chunks either. So I like it kind of fine, but I'm not going to, like this here, I'm not going to worry about getting these little bitty pieces out. I'm just not. Okay? If I had nothing to do all day, I might do that. And then I'm going to go through and just do a little bit more mix there in case I missed any. Okay. Wipe my hands off here. Then I will mix in some bread. Let me use this heel here first. Is that what y'all call them, the bread? We always called it the heel. My husband loved the heel ends of bread. He just loved them. So what's everybody been up to? I'm sorry, I was not feeling well yesterday, so I did not get this done like I was going to. I can't tell you how much to put in. I just usually go by how it looks. I'm probably going to put in 2 or 3 pieces of bread. Now, sometimes I will put some crackers in here too, but today I'm not. I'm just doing the bread since I am making a smaller batch, and I don't want to open up a new thing of crackers just to get 3 or 4 out of there. Oh, and then how much cornbread I have here. It's probably, I'm looking at that, and it's maybe 2-3 cups of cornbread. I would say if you use the mix on the back of your cornmeal mix, that's what I use. If you use the recipe on the back of there, I think it calls for about 2 cups. I just go by my bowl I mix it up in and my skillet I put it in. I mean, I've been doing it so long that I don't measure. And but if you go by that, I would say about half of that batch maybe. Because some of this cornbread, I've eaten some off of the, what do you call it? Anyway, I've eaten some of the pan of cornbread I made, the skillet of it. And then, so I took some of it and set aside for this. And so that's all I can tell you. Okay. I'm going to put about 3 pieces of light bread. And this is not the real thin stuff. All right. Now, hold on just a moment. I need to go wipe my nose and wash my hands. My nose is wanting to run for some reason. All right. I am back. Now, the next thing I want to do is I have caramelized some onions and a little bit of celery in here. I use about half of a medium onion, and I have about a stalk of celery, a stalk and a half maybe. I think I've told y'all this before, that my husband could not eat cooked celery, and my son can't either. So when our family's together, unless it's just, a couple of my girls, or all of my girls, I don't use celery. And I love celery and even like some green pepper. I didn't have any green pepper today. And I'll tell you what, I live about 15, 20 minutes from the grocery store. And so I wasn't going to run out and get some. And so I don't have that. But what I do put in it whenever, and I'll show you that in just a second, is what I would put in it would be some celery seed or celery salt. But then my husband had to really start watching salt, which was most of our married life. I quit using the salt and went to just celery seed. And it has a really good flavor. I would use that. I use that in chicken salads and everything. And I'm actually out of it. And I have some celery salt. When I bought that and why I bought it, it says it's still good. I may have bought it for something specific. It expires next month, actually. But anyway, I caramelized my onions and celery, but you could just saute yours or boil them in a little bit of water or broth, It's whatever you want to do. And y'all, I am still not feeling the greatest, so if y'all don't mind, I am going to sit down. Hope y'all don't mind that. Okay. All right. This may be a little harder to do if I'm sitting down, but anyway. Okay. Next, let's start on our seasonings. So, some black pepper. Just shake some in there. Now, when I'm doing a big batch, I just put some in my hand and sprinkle it in there. I like to see the pepper. All right. Can y'all see that? I like seeing my pepper. I am actually going to lay this spoon out here until I need it again. Lay it out of the way. All right, let's put in some garlic powder. And sometimes I will just take some minced garlic and the last little bit of cooking my onions, I will put in there. Now, I'll tell you what, since I couldn't use celery and our family like mushrooms, I would take, oh my goodness, my brain's not working. I would saute mushrooms with the celery is what I would do. I mean, not celery, the onions. I would saute the mushrooms with celery. No, I tell you what, my brain's not working today. I would saute the mushrooms with the onions. That's what I'm trying to get out, y'all. Oh, y'all gonna have to keep me on my toes. All right. So since I don't have any celery seed, just give it a little bit more pop of flavor, I am going to use a little bit of celery salt. And that came out fast, so that was plenty. Sorry. It's not my sinuses that's bothering me. It's some other issues I'm having. So it's not sinus or cold. My nose is runny because I was cleaning those stupid Asian beetles. I think I told y'all about that. I was cleaning those up today, and they'll make my nose start to run. It's like you clean up some of them, you're going to get twice as many bags. Like from the time they start coming, they're kind of like the cicadas. I say cicadas, and people say cicadas, whatever. But boy, when they come in droves, and they don't live long, so you have to go around vacuuming them up everywhere you go or sweeping them up, and they are just a nuisance. And I know at church, we'll go in one Sunday and clean them all up, go in the next Sunday, and I mean, it looks like a swarm of locusts in there or something. But they're just awful, and anytime I was gone all last week, and then this week I haven't been feeling real well, and so I just got to cleaning them this morning. So that's been, over a week's worth, and about a week and a half, and then so I guess my nose, and I guess wanting to run, and it's got me coughing. It's my allergies. And I probably should take the Zyrtec, but I only take that bedtime because they'll knock me out. Anyways, I'll be taking that tonight, but y'all don't want to hear me keep rambling on, so let me get back to it. Okay, so we put in black pepper, and we put in some celery salt. Now, I tell you, get some celery seed if you can't do celery. And even if you can, put a little pop in there unless you have diverticulitis and can't have seeds. See, there's my celery seed container. I got it out, and it's all empty. And why the heck I put it back in there? Oh, I know why. Because look there. Yeah, I don't waste anything. There's just tiny bits, so I'm going to throw those in there. All right. And we put our garlic powder in. I'm setting everything I've used that direction. Okay, now we are going to put in some ground sage, some thyme leaves, and some oregano. Now, I prefer rubbed sage, but do y'all see that price? It was 50 cents. I couldn't pass it up. I'll use ground sage all day long if I can get it on clearance like that. And do you know this? I'll tell you this in case you don't know. I'm sure if you're my age, you know this. But if you have spices that you only use like once or twice a year, keep them in the freezer. If you keep them in the freezer, they'll last longer. You don't want to, okay, you take this, the size of this, and pumpkin pie spice. We use it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, in my family. We use it 2, sometimes 3 times a year. Sometimes more when my husband was living because he really loved his grandmother's pumpkin pie recipe. And of course, we all loved it. When I never actually liked regular pumpkin pie before, but when I married into his family, and this had been passed from his grandmother to his mother, and I first tasted it, because he told me, I told him, I said, I don't like pumpkin pie, and I know we're going to finish this, but I said, I don't like pumpkin pie, and he said, I'll try this one, you'll like it, and I tried it, and I loved it. So my mother-in-law gave me the recipe, and I'm sorry I can't share it with y'all. She promised me not to give it out as family secret, and, she's not living anymore, but I still want to honor that promise, because I believe when we make a promise that we should honor it to the best of our ability. Now, of course, we all know there are times you can't keep every single promise, but to the best of our ability, we should honor promises. So that's why I will not put it here on YouTube and share it with people. But I really like that one. But anyway, so since we don't use that often to where we would use up this, that much. I just, so it doesn't go stale, it stays fresh, because even though it may not be expired, sometimes they're not fresh. I'll stick mine in the freezer. And that's what you can do too. And then, when you can use it straight from the freezer, or you can take it out early that morning, or the night before, and put, leave it out if you're going to be eating it the next morning. So I just want to give y'all that tip there. Okay, so we're going to, but like I said, we're going to use sage, oregano, and thyme. Now, instead of using these, you could use poultry seasoning if that's what you have or that's what you prefer. Poultry seasoning has, I believe it has sage, marjoram, and oregano. I'm sorry, it has sage, marjoram, and thyme. And I prefer oregano over marjoram. And that's what I use. And a lot of times I'll just use sage and maybe some Italian seasoning if I have that, and I don't have any. So like I said, we're using what I have. And as long as I have oregano and thyme, I'm not needing to buy any Italian seasoning anytime soon. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll put some sage in. Now, I'll tell y'all a little trick. If you have these little, like this Best Choice brand, these are like the 1.37 ounces. Did y'all know, or like even say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be reaching over that, but I promise I'm clean. The garlic powder lids, they hold, well, this one seems bigger, but most of them hold approximately, no, it's about the same size. Most of them hold approximately a tablespoon. So that can help you measure if you need to measure something. In this, I love lots of sage, but this is a small one. So I am only going to maybe put about a couple of teaspoons. I mean, I've been known to use about half of this, or maybe a little more if I'm making a big batch, because I love sage. Unless I'm cooking for people I'm not sure of, or I know that they particularly don't care for a lot of sage. So I just want mine kind of green there on top. One time my son, he wouldn't eat the dressing one Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I said, son, why aren't you eating that? And because I know he likes dressing, he said, well, and I had put a little bit too much sage in there. And he said, well, you put celery in it. And I said, I did not put celery in it. And he said, well, it's green. And of course, it was the sage had given it the color. Okay, here I have me just a pinch of the thyme leaves. And I'm going to do just a little pinch more. Just pinch you some. And then remember, these are leaves. Now, you could get the powder or whatever, but crush, if it's leaves, crush them while you're doing that. And the same with the oregano. I've got a pinch here, and I'm taking it easy on that because sometimes the oregano can be a little overpowering. So I put a little pinch in there too of that. Now I will stir all of this together. Mix those spices in good. And I tell you, the reason I like to put my onions and celery in first is because since it's warm, I want that to be able to pick up the flavor from the spices, the herbs and things. And I actually like to cook mine up on cornbread's cooking lots of times. I didn't get that done since I already had the cornbread. And then when what I like to do is then put it all in together at the same time. And always cook, well, you can boil yours, but like I said, I like to cook mine in some butter. And if you don't cook yours in some butter, like for this, and this small batch, I used about There's 8, 1, 2. I use about 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter. But what I like to do is, boy, my brain's not working today. Of course, it doesn't work half the time. But anyway, if you boil them, you can put that broth from the vegetables in here. But you could also put a little bit of melted butter in it. And that would be good. You could put a little bit, when you get ready to put your broth in, you could put a little bit of the drippings and, the juice from the turkey after it's cooked, not before. I usually don't, because there was a time when I did, but I have acid reflux so bad, something to do with my asthma and all of that. And so a lot of greasy foods will bother me, some more than others. I can eat stuffed cooked in butter all day long, it doesn't bother me. But for some reason that turkey, because I guess it's so greasy, it will bother me. And I do take medicine for it, but I only take half the medicine I'm supposed to, because I found out that medicine can lead to Alzheimer's. So I cut down on the half amount and thought I can deal with the acid reflux. All right, so next we are going to put in a can of, and I have cream mushroom soup. You can do cream of celery, cream of, and sometimes, because cream of celery doesn't really have much celery in it, sometimes I do put cream of celery. Cream of chicken, I like just put a cream of something soup in it. So let me get this out of here. I was thinking, I have not finished unpacking and putting out all of my Thanksgiving stuff, and I don't know, for some reason my Christmas one is out, and that probably never got put up last year, but I think I have some Thanksgiving ones, but I'm not positive. I'll have to go look in my box. I got a couple of my big items out, but my containers with my small items, I don't have those out. So I just haven't been on the ball all the way this year. Just had a lot of going on this summer. Okay. I'm going to just take this fork and scrape that off the best I can. Get every last bit, because groceries just cost too much, and y'all know that, don't you? All right, now let's mix that in real good as best we can. I may have to put a little bit of broth in it first. Okay, in here I have my better than bouillon roasted chicken. You want 2 teaspoons. Now, you don't want 2 of these teaspoons like we, eat soup with, the small spoon that comes with your silverware set. You want the little measurement to a teaspoon, or you just want a little partial of this, because if you use this measures more than an actual teaspoon, and so it's going to be pretty salty, unless you like a lot of salt, and I don't, so I don't want it to be overwhelming. I couldn't really use this when my husband was living because of the salt, and actually didn't discover it really until afterwards, and then I fell in love with it. Or maybe one of my girls had it before then, but whenever I discovered it, I fell in love. Now, we want this to be soupy. That's one thing you need to do. Make sure it is soupy. Now, some people, they like it dry. I do not like mine dry. I do not like dry dressing. I want it soupy, soupy, soupy. I'm just adding a little at a time, because I don't want to get it way too soupy either. Well, I'm a sloshing over here. That's not a good thing. I always make messes. That's just me. It's just not in my nature to be super, super neat when I cook. I don't think it's my nature to be super, super neat no matter what in life, but I'm too ADD. I know my daughter, I have this thing of always losing my keys and my phone. So one of my kids got me one of those Alexa things so I could tell it to call my phone. And then I think it was last year one of my daughters got me a thing so it will help me find my keys. And you put this sensor on it. And then you have this base station. You push a button when you lose your keys. Well, that works except when I'm at one of their houses, and that doesn't work there. I guess I could carry it with me. Okay, you see this? Can you see that? See, to me, this isn't soupy yet. I want to see some of the liquid sitting kind of on top of here. So, I mean, I use a lot of broth when I make dressing. I like it moist and kind of fluffy. Let me see how that looks now. I think I'm just about there. I need just a little bit more. I can see it sitting at the edges a little. Now, I am not going to use much of this, just a little bit there, and it'll probably be good. And I'll tell you, when you use some out of a box, and this on sale, this one guy was really cheap at Kroger. What you can do is take and pour it into ice cube trays. Freeze that, and then once it's frozen, take them out of the ice cube tray and put them in a Ziploc freezer bag or a plastic freezer container or something, and just pop them in the freezer, and then every time you need one, you can take it out. That's, you know, about the best way to do it. Because these don't last as long in the fridge. Now, the better than bouillon, write your date on it, and it will last. I think I left over there. But if you buy that, you buy it over in the soup aisle, and it's in a jar. I think I've shown y'all before. But it will last 18 months in the fridge once you open it. Just a hair more, and I think I'm done. I can tell by looking already. But can y'all see how soupy this is looking? I like it liquidy, soupy. You see how that's soupy or runny or whatever you want to call it? You're not coming away with it like a cake mix or anything. You know, it's even soupier than cake mix. Okay, I can see liquid standing there. I can see it there. I don't know if you can see it from the video, but I can see it. All right, now I am going to taste this to see, get that broth stuff off there, to see if I need any more of the spices or herbs. Well, that tastes good to me. I'm trying to choke there a little bit on that cornbread, but it tastes good to me. All right, now I'm going to take in one egg, and if you can taste it with the egg in. I have this thing that I don't even want to eat my egg with that yolk running, and it's not that I think I will get sick. It's just simple fact. It's just a mind thing, okay? It's just a mind thing. And my husband tried to get me to eat eggs with the yolk running, but I would try. I tried a couple of times, but no, I just couldn't do it. And I don't even eat raw cookie dough unless there's not an egg in it. I know some people do, but not me. Now, let my kids want to. I don't remember, honestly. I can't say. They would have to tell me if I did or not. Well, I know that my husband did. So their daddy ate raw cookie dough, so I'm sure they did too. So I am going to beat up 1 egg, since this is a small batch. And a bigger batch that I would make for my family, I'd probably use 3 or 4 eggs. And that's just to help give it a little bit of fluffiness to it. Just mix that egg up in there really good. Okay, now I'm going to stand up here so I can put it in my dish. Move this chair out of the way. Okay, now, y'all see how that juice is kind of standing? You don't want it really like, oh, you can really see it. You can just barely see it on top. And it'll more or less be kind of around the edges. Just, you know, just a little, not a lot. Now, I've already sprayed this. And you don't have to worry. This isn't going to really rise that much. Now, you don't want it super thick, because if you get it super thick, it's going to take longer to cook. So you don't want it more than about, I don't know, about 3 inches or so. Like, I got a short finger. So I am going to put this about halfway. Maybe a little more than half. And that should be good. Something to compare it to. Let me see. Okay, let's compare it to the soup can. You get down on the level. Okay, here's your soup can. So it's not even half as much as that soup can, which you could go to half. You could go about size half, you know, half the size of a soup can. So I don't have a ruler here to measure that, but that's 10.5 ounces. But if you go super thick, then the problem you're going to have is that it's going to take a lot longer to cook. If you have a 9x13 pan and you fill it all up except maybe that much, you know, just a little bit, then you should be fine. You can even fill it almost to the top. So I am going to pop this in a 350-degree oven that's already been preheating. And I will start out, checking it at 30 minutes. And then I will, after 30 minutes, I'll see. I usually 30 to 45, and I'll go from there, okay? And, you know, check it and see. All right, I'll bring back in a little bit. All right, y'all, this is finished. And I checked the middle. And that looks really good and moist. Now, sometimes when you're cooking it, before your middle's all the way, you know, nice and set, I think I probably should put 1 more egg in here, though, but it is done. You can see that. Whoa, I'm dropping things today. I'm sorry. My hand's slippery. But you see that's nice and moist there. I'm kind of a little shaky here today. I think I need to eat right now is the problem. I think my sugar's a little low. I'm not diabetic. But anyway, sometimes the top will get dry. And if you don't want that dry top, and I think too is this butter on my hands is making me drop stuff. I grabbed a little piece of butter. Just take a little bit of butter and just rub it along the top. And that will soften up your, this butter's soft, so I'm just going to pinch off a little. And just, you know, put some across the top of it. and that will soften up the top of it where it may get a little overdone. Or not really it's not really overdone, it's just dry, you know, a little bit dry on the top. But as you can see, that inside's very moist. You see how moist that is? That's good. All right. I might have to wash this because I'm wiping my hands on it. I forgot to bring a towel over. All right, y'all, there you have it. Now, you will need to cook this for about an hour. I forgot to tell you that. And as I said a while ago, I'm not diabetic. I just sometimes get these low blood sugar bouts. I've been like that for as long as I can remember, probably 30 years or more. So anyway, it's been a while since I've eaten lunch, and I didn't have a snack today. So yeah, I'm a little shaky, I think, because of that. So anyway, you listen. Y'all have a good evening, and remember to always season your cooking with love. Okay, see y'all later.